What if I told you that the most emotional moment of the summer I turned pretty season 3, episode 10 wasn't about Paris, or Jeremiah, or even the new haircut, but about something far darker hidden between the lines? Think about it. Why would a show that thrives on romance and nostalgia suddenly decide to throw us into grief, distance, and heartbreak all at once? Isn't it strange that a story about love triangles has now shifted into a battle of memory, absence, and the haunting weight of promises broken? Here's the thing, this wasn't just an episode. This was a test. A test of loyalty, for Conrad, for Jeremiah, for Belly, and honestly for us as the audience. Because let's be real, have you ever noticed how this show toys with us? One moment it gives us hope, the next it rips it away. And now, after a 3-month jump, after Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's have passed, we're left with a question that almost feels forbidden to ask. What if Belly doesn't come home? Yes, you heard me. Forget the romantic fairy tale we've been dreaming of since season 1. Imagine this. Conrad fights for her, Jeremiah forgives, letters are sent across oceans, care packages filled with love and desperation. But when the dust settles, Belly might just choose herself, I know. It's shocking. It almost feels like betrayal. But isn't that the real pain point here? The problem that nobody wants to face. Because while we all sit here hoping for the endgame couple, rooting for Conrad, analyzing Jeremiah's pain, debating if Bonito is just a distraction, there's a bigger, scarier truth lurking. Maybe Belly isn't supposed to end up with either of them. Now pause with me for a second, and really let that sink in. Would you be okay with that? Or would that destroy everything you've invested in since the very first summer? That's the cruel genius of this episode. The writers have dangled every piece of bait possible: the infinity necklace, the graveyard reconciliation, the postcards hidden in a wallet, all signs of destiny. And yet they show Belly in Paris, cutting her hair, reinventing herself, and literally forgetting the anniversary of Susanna's death? That's not an accident. That's forbidden knowledge, hidden storytelling. A signal that Belly might be cutting ties, not just her hair. But before we go further, let me pause here and say this. If you're someone who loves breaking down the real secrets of these shows, not just the surface level romances but the dark undercurrents the writers hide for only the sharpest fans to catch, then you need to be subscribed. Because what I'm about to reveal in this video isn't the kind of thing casual viewers ever notice. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming. Alright, now let's push deeper. Look closely at Conrad. Everyone's praising his Paris detour, the care packages, the infinity necklace. But here's the forbidden angle: this isn't just romance. It's obsession. Conrad isn't just showing love, he's showing fear. Fear of losing Belly forever. Fear that without her, he's got nothing left to hold on to. And when Jeremiah finally forgives him at their mother's grave, what happens? We're supposed to cheer. But think about it. Their truce wasn't just brotherly love. It was a transaction. Jeremiah was essentially saying, fine. You can have her. I can't compete. Tell me that doesn't feel chilling. Because if Jeremiah lets go, if Conrad chases, and Belly chooses independence, what then? The triangle collapses. The show rewrites itself. And the ending none of us predicted suddenly becomes the most realistic option. So here's the problem, Z. The summer I turned pretty has built its entire empire on the illusion of endgame couples. But what if that illusion is finally shattering? Let me throw a question straight to you. If Belly truly chooses herself in Paris, never returning, never picking Conrad or Jeremiah, would you respect it? Or would you feel betrayed? Drop your thoughts below. I'm dying to see how divided this fanbase really is. Because trust me, the writers want us divided. They want chaos. They want heartbreak. And in episode 10, they've quietly planted the seeds of a finale that could leave half the audience cheering and the other half throwing their screens out the window. But hold on, because what if I told you this isn't just a romance story? What if Belly's haircut, Conrad's necklace, and Jeremiah's forgiveness are part of something far bigger? A secret plan hidden in plain sight since season 1. That's where we're headed next. The chaos of battle was only the surface layer of the storm that raged within Rhaenyra's heart. She wasn't just fighting for a throne. She was fighting for her children, for her family's honor, and for the fragile dream her father, Viserys, had trusted her with. The Song of Ice and Fire still haunted her, this prophecy of a darkness that could swallow the world. How could she hope to protect the realm if she couldn't even hold her own house together? Meanwhile, Aegon was unraveling in his own way. The burden of kingship crushed him day by day, and his erratic behavior became dangerous. While Alicent tried desperately to keep him steady, Even she began to wonder if the Iron Throne was burning him alive from within. But here's the secret the history books never tell you. Both Rhaenyra and Aegon believed they were saving the realm. To Rhaenyra, Aegon was a usurper tearing apart her father's legacy. To Aegon, Rhaenyra was a threat to the stability of Westeros, someone who would plunge the realm into fire and blood if unchecked. And so, their war wasn't just political, it was deeply personal, almost fated. Every betrayal, every death, every dragon unleashed only fueled the sense that destiny had chosen them for this clash. But destiny is cruel, because by the time the dust settled, the Iron Throne itself seemed cursed, cutting and maiming all who dared to sit upon it. The Targaryens were consumed from within, proving that maybe, just maybe, the throne was never meant for them at all. As the dance dragged on, the true monsters were revealed, not just in the skies, but in the hearts of men. Loyalties shattered like fragile glass, and even the great houses of Westeros found themselves torn in half. The Hightowers whispered poison into Aegon's ear, driving him toward paranoia. Rhaenyra's council grew divided too, some urging mercy, others demanding fire and blood. And in the middle of it all stood Daemon Targaryen, unpredictable, dangerous, a man who thrived in chaos. Was he fighting for Rhaenyra or for his own twisted vision of power? And then came the dragons, the ultimate weapons, but also the ultimate curse. Every time they took to the skies, whole villages burned. Thousands of innocents turned to ash. What began as a war of succession was transforming into something darker, a war of annihilation. But here's the chilling truth no one in the realm wanted to face. The Targaryens weren't in control of their dragons anymore. The more blood spilled, the more uncontrollable the beasts became, driven by rage, fear, and something primal deep within their ancient blood. And this is where Season 3's brutal twist may come in. Imagine a moment when even the victors of a battle look upon the smoldering ruins and realize there is no throne worth this price. That's the tragedy of the Dance of the Dragons. It wasn't just about who ruled. It was about whether anyone would be left to rule at all. But if you think the war is over, think again, because the darkest betrayals are still to come. But here's the real question, was this war ever truly about who sat the Iron Throne? Or was it about who was strong enough to survive it?